You have a choice coming up. The rage mob, the chaos, the death, the destruction, the celebration of it, or order, liberty, freedom, optimism, law, civility. You have a big choice coming up. All right, let me go to Trump. I'm going to go a couple cuts because Trump's speech was long, so I'm just going to play a few cuts. But it was really good, though. Very well received. Well done. And then two more, which were really just the crescendo of an incredible event. Hat tip to the RNC that put this on. Here's clip number one from Donald Trump last night, where he talks about optimistically how we're going to write the next chapter of American history. Again, which was a great foil considering the liberal lunatics were raging outside with their rage music and bullhorns. Check this out.
This November, we must turn the page forever on this failed political class. The fact is, I'm here. What's the name of that building? But I'll say it differently. The fact is, we're here and they're not. To me, one of the most beautiful buildings anywhere in the world, and it's not a building, it's a home as far as I'm concerned. Not even a house, it's a home. It's a wonderful place with an incredible history. But it's all because of you. Together we will write the next chapter of the great American story.
Folks, if you were there last night, it was amazing. I looked at Paula at a couple points. We looked at each other, and I whispered in her ear. She has to turn her head. One ear, she's like me. We both have bad ears, so if we don't talk in the right ear, nobody hears each other. And I said, well, tell our grandkids one day we were here. Right around that time when that part of the speech happened, a chant broke out 4 more years. And wouldn't you say, Paula, that was probably the most magical portion of the night? It was amazing.
4 more years! 4 more years! 4 more years! 4 more years! 4 more years!
There were a ton of highlights from President Trump's speech. So again, in the interest of time, I'm going to play another one I thought really, given what happened to us last night with the rage mob coming for us, I thought this was very well said. Check this out.
Always remember, they are coming after me because I am fighting for you. That's what's happening.
He doesn't bend the knee, the president. He refuses to bend the knee. And that's why they hate him. They're used to Republicans backing down and cowering every time the media writes a BS story. He won't do it. And it drives them nuts. The speech was really, really good. I don't know what universe the media is living in where they thought the speech was. The speech was fantastic. Fantastic. I mean, length, okay, maybe it was a little long for a speech, but there wasn't a 10-minute period of that where people weren't completely into it. I'm really sorry. I don't know what you saw. But there was more last night, and these were some of the speeches that led up to President Trump's very well-done speech at the end of the night. This one, ladies and gentlemen, there was not a dry eye in the house for this one. There was a little bit of an awkward moment during the production, if you were there, where someone had told the first family to come out in the middle. It was weird. I felt bad for them because I don't think they knew what was playing. But when they came out, if you watch the event on C-SPAN, you'll notice there's an awkward moment where the kids come out, they're introduced, welcome, the first family of the United States, and the applause is muted. It wasn't muted because of them. It was muted because I think everybody was so emotionally enwrapped in this video of Kayla Mueller, who was taken hostage in Syria, raped, tortured, and killed. Her family was given their speech, and it was the only odd moment of the night where you'll see what I mean, because this was what we were all watching when they came out, and it was just heart-wrenching.
All Kayla wanted was to make it home. We are still working to find her, and God willing, we will bring her home. Kayla was born a miracle. We were told we would never have a second child, but God gave us Kayla, and she gave herself to the world. 8 months into Kayla's captivity, another hostage was able to smuggle out a letter Kayla had written. As we read it, we could see that God was holding her in his arms. In her words, she felt tenderly cradled in free fall. She also wrote, "I have been shown in darkness light and have learned that even in prison one can be free. I am grateful. I have had many hours to think how only in your absence have I finally, at 25 years old, come to realize your place in my life. None of us could have known it would be this long, but no, I am also fighting for my side in the ways I am able, and I have a lot of fight left inside of me. I am not breaking down, and I will not give in, no matter how long it takes."
That was tough to watch. Just utter silence in the crowd. So now you understand, in case it's reported disingenuously by the media, when Don Jr. and the family came out, they came out in the middle of that, and that's why the applause was muted. It had nothing to do with the first family. Again, things, if you're not there and you don't see it, you'll probably have some media to go, "Oh my gosh, Don Jr. and Eric and Tiffany and the family walked out and nobody even clapped for them." That's not what happened. People were watching that on the screen, the Mueller family, and just, there wasn't a dry eye in the house. Let me go to one final cut, and I got a lot more news today too. Jacob Blake, the story of Jacob Blake in Minnesota. That story's gotten very, very interesting as more details are starting to come out on that. The NBA story, so don't go anywhere. It's really going to be a loaded show. But this is my final clip of the day. There was so much last night, Alice Johnson and others, but I don't think anyone in the crowd, because I spoke to a lot of people last night, the cops, Border Patrol guys who were there, everyone, people who came up and said hello. I think it was unanimous that this was the most emotional, gut-wrenching, you're like, after I just watched that, yeah. After last night, the most gut-wrenching moment, it was unanimous. This was Ann Dorn. Ann Dorn is the wife of slain former police officer David Dorn. David was killed in St. Louis protecting his friend's pawn shop during one of the riots, responding to an alarm. He was killed, shot dead on the streets. This is just a small piece of what his wife had to say about David during last night. And trust me, it was on grass. And there, you could have heard a pin drop on the grass. There was not a sound in the crowd as this was playing.
After I'd gone to bed, David received a call from Lee's Alarm Company. The front door of the pawn shop had been breached. This time he didn't wake me up to tell me. He probably knew I would have tried to stop him or insist on going with him. As I slept, looters were ransacking the shop. They shot and killed David in cold blood, and then live streamed his execution and his last moments on earth. David's grandson was watching the video on Facebook in real time, not realizing he was watching his own grandfather dying on the sidewalk.
Tough. Tough to listen to. Really tough to listen to. But it really summed it up for a lot of the people there. You have a choice coming up. The rage mob, the chaos, the death, the destruction, the celebration of it, or order, liberty, freedom, optimism, law, civility. You have a big choice coming up.
You just heard Dan Bongino.